There is no question that President Trump is more than just a presidential candidate. The man, he is leading a movement. In less than 100 days, the country will choose whether or not we continue down this path of reckless spending, open borders, and guys beating up girls at the Olympics. You and I both know Trump isn't running just against Kamala Harris. He's up against a very coordinated machine, one that hid a demented Joe Biden in the basement and now puts Kamala in the corner, exalted high up on a pedestal.
Kamala Harris in so many ways might just be the right candidate at the right time.
Tonight, a whole new race for president. Democrats rallying around Kamala Harris.
She speaks beautifully. She knows her issues. She has the experience.
One of the most qualified people.
One of the most qualified people to run in decades.
She is also very attractive. I mean, I have to say it.
This feels Obama-level energy.
Just when I thought my eyes couldn't roll back further in my head, these propaganda puppets staying on script. You see that? As they rebrand Kamala as Barack Obama 2.0, this as they continue to go rabid over President Trump's sit-down interview. You're seeing a little bit of it right there at the National Association for Black Journalists. Kamala was also invited, but of course she didn't go. She said she was too busy, which is par for the course considering she's done 0 interviews. You guys realize this? 0 news conferences since she was anointed. Because they know that when she goes off script, it's word salad time. Her campaign tightly controlling every single one of her moves. And now they're also adding veterans from Obama and Hillary's campaign to Kamala's team. Meantime, President Trump, he continues to be villainized, his comments cherry-picked without context. Here's the latest Trump soundbite. The fake news is now churning out non-stop.
Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is only on the ticket because she is a black woman?
She was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?
She is always identified as a black woman. She went to a historically black college.
I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't.
Of course, Trump is now being called a bigot, a racist. First of all, Trump didn't have to go to this black journalist conference. He went there because he always is so respectful of the black community, Latino, you name it. And he knew that it could be hostile, which it was. And the point Trump was trying to make there, which I think he made beautifully, isn't whether Kamala is really black, Jamaican, or Indian. The point is this: Kamala has no core principles. She switches her race just as easily as she switches her policy stance, depending on whom her audience is. She even changes her accent. Here's what Chameleon said about the border before she ran for president.
We have to have a secure border, but I am in favor of saying that we're not going to treat people who are undocumented and cross the border as criminals. That's correct.
I believe if someone crosses over the border illegally, it is illegal, and you would decriminalize it.
I would not make it a crime punishable by jail. It should be a civil enforcement issue.
I know what a crime looks like, and I will tell you, an undocumented immigrant is not a criminal.
An undocumented immigrant is not a criminal.
And now here's what she is saying now that she is running for president.
Donald Trump does not care about border security. He only cares about himself. And when I am president, I will work to actually solve the problem.
Look in the mirror for the source of that problem, Ms. Border Czar. Does she not remember that under President Trump, the border was under control? And not only has the Biden-Harris regime allowed an estimated 20 million illegals to invade this country from over 180 countries, but they've incentivized this invasion with free housing, debit cards, health care, and more.
So you support giving universal health care, Medicare for all, to people who are in this country illegally?
Let me just be very clear about this. I am opposed to any policy that would deny in our country any human being from access to public safety, public education, or public health, period.
Do you know we're even paying for illegals who are transitioning into becoming women? So while you and I pay hundreds of dollars a month for our health insurance, struggle with those ridiculously high deductibles, you just heard it right there from the border czar's mouth that she wants to use your tax dollars to pay for free health care for illegals. And she wants to also decriminalize all border crossings. This is the Harris plan. They want Americans to disregard all of their failed policies. They want you to forget about the invasion that is costing lives and billions of dollars at the same time. They want you to forget about the Biden-Harris regime's multiple war fronts due to their weakness on the world stage. And despite your bank account showing otherwise, they want you to forget about that the economy is on the brink of a recession with, as you just saw with Friday's disastrous job report. At least, you know, this is what they want you to focus on. Kamala didn't say you're a cat lady, like Trump's running mate J.D. Vance said a few years ago. The media doing its best now to expose Vance by, look at this one. They interviewed his long-lost BFF, Sophia Nelson.
What I've seen is a chameleon, someone who is able to change their positions and their values depending on what will amass them political power and wealth. And I think that's really unfortunate because it reflects a lack of integrity.
Oh, poor, obviously confused Sophia. She probably thought they asked her about Kamala. And now left-wing elites like comedian Chelsea Handler are latching onto this cat lady thing tighter than to their delusional belief that they've made the right choices in life.
I mean, my God, are we tired? You sad, diet, Mountain Dew, drinking, couch humping, dolphin porn aficionado, all of us childless cat and dog ladies are going to go from childless and crushing it to childless and crushing you in November.
Oh, Chelsea, J.D. Vance has never been anti-women. He was raised by women, single women. Look at his book, read his book, look at the movie. All he was doing is stating the simple fact that this Democrat Party is anti-family.
It's not a criticism of people who don't have children. I explicitly said in my remarks, despite the fact the media has lied about this, that this is not about criticizing people who, for various reasons, didn't have kids. This is about criticizing the Democratic Party for becoming anti-family and anti-child. We have to ask ourselves, Megyn, why do we have masking of toddlers years after the pandemic ended? Why do we have the Harris campaign coming out this very morning, Megyn, and saying that we should not have the child tax credit, which lowers tax rates for parents of young children?
Where is he wrong? I guarantee you most Americans agree with what J.D. Vance just said there, but you won't hear that clip or anything like it on the fake news networks. The propaganda machine, oh, it is in overdrive, and the people pulling the levers and pushing those buttons, systematically destroying this country, are, unfortunately, I have to say this, mostly white, liberal women.
This is this natalism that comes from an authoritarian playbook, right? That there need to be more white children, right? That's the idea that there's, you know, this is about great replacement theory, racism, right? This is what this is. So don't misunderstand it for him wanting more children. He wants a certain kind of, you know, racist thing.
Wow. Does she not know J.D. Vance has 3 biracial children? And the fact that the host that she's speaking with doesn't even correct her, regardless, no one watching The View or MSNBC or any of these other propaganda networks, they're not going to vote for Trump or Vance anyway. They're too far into the Trump derangement syndrome brainwashed. And they also think they're too morally superior. They're encased in their own little liberal bubble world. So all the Trump team can keep doing is what they are doing, focusing on the facts, focusing on the policies, that all of this chaos is a direct result of the Biden-Harris regime's failed policies. A vote for Kamala is simply a continuation of all of this, but actually it's worse. President Trump, of course, is now eager to debate Kamala, and of course she refuses to commit. I hope they debate, though, as soon as possible, because Trump, if you think about this, had it not been for that Trump-Biden debate, we would have known just how demented he is. And Trump single-handedly exposed to the world that Joe Biden was unfit to be president. And I believe he will easily do the same to Kamala.